When was the last time you took a leap of faith, trusting that everything is going to work out? Do you crave growth, or are you merely content with the status quo? If you want more out of your life, out of your career, and out of your relationships, you are in the right place. Take the leap and discover how to create a life by design rather than living it by default. Real success starts with you. Now here's your host, Colleen Biggs.
Hello, listeners, and welcome back to another episode of Take the Leap with Colleen Biggs. And first of all, I want to thank all of you for being here week after week, episode after episode. My hope is that you are learning something every single time that you are here and visiting with us and listening to this podcast on how you in your life can take the leap and how all of our guests are inspiring you to do that through the diversity that they've experienced, through tragedy that they've experienced, through perseverance that they've had to get through to the other side. That's why we talk about the stories and dig in deep on how they got where they are, what they went through, and how they enjoy the success that they're having today. So thank you again for being here with us. But before I jump in with our amazing guest today on talking about collaboration and building alliances, I first want to thank our sponsor, Trisha Peardo with Turning Leaves Recovery. Addictions, negative attachments, and habits that hold us hostage are all seated in a pressure to perform and a reliance on something outside of ourselves to provide peace, joy, comfort, relief, value, validity, and worthiness. Trisha Peardo is the owner and creator of Turning Leaves Recovery Life and Wellness Coaching and is an industry thought leader, a recovery lifestyle enthusiast, and a fierce optimist who loves to help change lives. Trisha's combined her journey with addictions that span more than 30 years of her life with her 25 plus year recovery journey and in-depth degree studies to create an intimate, interactive experience designed to be focused on life going forward, transforming emotional intelligence, expanding consciousness, and generating a healthy lifestyle for any recovery journey without creating overwhelm. So please connect with her at www.turningleavesrecovery.com or call her direct line. We have the number listed there for you. And thank you again, Trisha, for being our sponsor on today's show. So like I said, we're going to be jumping into building alliances and collaborating. And I, for one, believe in collaboration over competition. Competition is not going to serve anyone. And the more that we come together and collaborate, the better. Now, this person I'm introducing, Jackie Zaccoli, she, after Peace Corps in Liberia, she did corporate games, my desktop publishing business. It led her to knowing that business people needed to learn how to build alliance teams to be more successful. So she does that on LinkedIn and with various groups globally. She's also manifesting Global Solutions Group. She lives in Arizona and plays globally. So Jackie, welcome to the show today.
Thank you so much. I just so love being with you. Your energy just lights up the whole room, and who could but love you, Colleen?
Oh, Jackie, you're so sweet. You know, we were talking earlier before we got on here, and I didn't get a chance to share that, it's 8 a.m. right now, Arizona time, which is where Jackie and I both live. And I've been up since 5. So usually my body wakes up even earlier than that, but I pop out of bed. I was reading a self-esteem book this morning and getting ideas of some things I can apply with my clients. And then of course my alarm goes off an hour later. I'm in there and my husband and I are working out to our mirror and lifting our weights and doing our thing, and then get showered and get ready. And I'm doing a cleanse this week. So I've got my vitamins ready to take and my shake ready to drink. And the one thing I thought about in this book this morning, Jackie, was it talks about how do we treat others and how do we take care of ourselves, says a lot about our self-esteem. And that's where I see alliances and collaboration. When you're confident about who you are and what you offer other people, you want to build alliances. You want to collaborate. Don't you think it's true that those that struggle with that confidence or with that self-esteem or with that worth, they become more competitive because they feel like they have to fight everybody else around them. What have you found in this journey of bringing people together, Jackie?
That's a good point, Colleen. That really is a good point. And I think that makes a big difference if you really think about it. We're always thinking that competition is what's out there and we do have to compete, but I don't agree. Sure, you have to, at certain degrees, to be able to make a business, but not really. Collaboration is really what it's all about. And when you feel good about you,
Yeah.
then you're more excited about going out to work with others. Absolutely. And if your mind is always on competition, how are you going to build teams? You
Yeah.
can't build a team with the I. There's no I in team,
Yeah.
you know? And so you really do have to do that. And the benefits are so much bigger.
Mm-hmm.
They are so much bigger. It's just exponentially huge when you have alliances versus trying to do it all by yourself. I mean, you multiply the database that you have by whomever you talk to, which is at least 600 more people. Why would you do
Yeah.
it alone?
Yeah, it
And it
doesn't
is,
make any sense. Yeah, why we would do it alone. I have built my businesses on collaboration, on collaborating with other coaches, collaborating with other communities, even building my own community. I collaborate with other communities because what they offer is different than what I offer. So take us back to your Peace Corps days in Liberia. That had to have been a whole experience starting from being young, I'm assuming, when you were in the Peace Corps. How old were you back then, Jackie, when you joined the Peace Corps?
well, I
And
actually joined when I was 20 and I arrived in country when I was 21. So yeah, I was a pretty young little puppy. My husband, we both had just gotten married, and we both realized that as teachers, we could teach anywhere, anytime, but we certainly couldn't teach in another country. So why not? Why not? It was an amazing experience. I'll just relate that one scene that I like to share. If you get 85 Peace Corps volunteers in a Pan Am jet from New York to Liberia, and we land at the airport. And as we open the door, this burst of steam hits us, and almost collectively we say, "Oh my gosh, what have I done?" And as we walk out and get onto the tarmac, I remember being greeted by the ambassadors and the dignitaries. Excuse me, still haven't figured out how they knew my name. That's beside the point. And after the hello, I said, "Oh, it is so green. It is so green." And he looked at me and he said, "Not really." He says, "Wait till it rains." I thought, and that was the scenario for the entire 2 years, that there are layers. There are layers and depths of friendships to be built and relationships to be built. And I began to see that is true, that we need to get those layers cleaned off, so to speak, and to find them, because they too were excited. They too were scared. They too are all those feelings that we had, and curious. It's just a matter of finding them. So that was a lot of the Peace Corps
Yeah.
experience.
What was the responsibility of the Peace Corps back when you all 85 of you on this Pan Am flight arrived in Liberia? What was your intention for the 2 years that you were there?
The intention, all of us were teachers. We had 20 of us who were lawyers and their wives. And so we had about 10 couples. Our intention was to teach. And the reasoning that what we were asked, and always are asked by the host company, we never are just pushed onto a country. And the concept was that the teachers of the country would go to get training while we were there to be able to take their classes and to be able to do what it was that, the education, which just as a quick comment was a real stretch because their education is rote. You parrot things back, you memorize things. That's not the way we were taught. You reason and you understand to learn. So now I only brought in a culture that was totally different from theirs and a white person besides, but also a different way of learning and a different way of thinking.
Yeah.
So I was not the only one being stretched. They were being stretched to be able to listen and to understand me. Although English was their common language, they had 29 of their own dialects.
So
After all, they were returned American slaves is what they were.
It's interesting because without the collaboration of you all going in there and doing the teaching that you had done and building those alliances, right, with other countries that we do today, they wouldn't enjoy some of the teachings or freedoms. Neither would we that we enjoy. So it's very interesting if we were to go, look at our entire lives and who we build collaborations with and alliances with. I think of my church just for one, when you're putting on a big event at your church or when you're putting on a community event in your community, and the collaboration it takes. I just got an email from my community today asking for people who want to plan the 4th of July celebration. So it takes a board. We all have to, get on this board and plan the celebration and then collaborate with all of the different people within the community and then build alliances outside of the community for people coming into the community and how we can use their assistance. So we really, truly in our lives, Jackie, build alliances and collaborate on a regular basis. Talk to me about a time in your life. And sometimes these leaps that we take that are so scary and fearful for us, I bet 9 times out of 10, it's because we're doing them alone. And that's why they feel so scary. Do you remember a time in your life where you did something that really just was super scary? You didn't know what the outcome was going to be when you did it. Well, besides landing in a Pan Am flight in the middle of Liberia.
Well, that was probably the quintessential one, That's probably the scariest one that I have ever done. There were some other ones too, like the government had asked me once I was here and living in California in Pleasanton. I wasn't living there, but I was working there, to create a symposium actually promoting Liberia and bringing them all together, those that were in the Bay Area, and to be able to have a speaking and to bring more business into Liberia, working with the ambassador and working with actually the president, it turned out to be later. So yeah, that was scary. I didn't have a clue how I was going to make that. And I certainly could not do it alone. Yeah. And I certainly had to have the Liberians in the area work with me and to develop that team. Yeah, that was pretty scary. I've been to a couple of ventures like that I just was pioneering on my own, and I had to build a team. Yeah. You just cannot do it all by yourself.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say would be one of the bigger ones.
What is your biggest draw to assisting entrepreneurs and small business owners like myself in building alliances and collaborations? Why do you do it? What do you do it for?
Because I really can see and feel the positive impact. In fact, I will find the joy for me is I will be on a Zoom call with 2 other people that I think probably that I know will meet and should get along really well together. And it's like I can actually see, I can envision the sparks flying. I think of myself as a catalyst for spontaneous combustion. Mm-hmm. I can literally see what can happen because I know both of them to a degree that it has to blend. It just has to. And I see that, and I'm sometimes almost in tears. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what's going to come of this? Now, is it going to come? I don't know that. I haven't a clue if that really is going to happen, though I need to envision it and to say it and to have them feel it so that it will happen. And then typically it does. It explodes into whole different areas. And that's what I love, is when I'm able to actually see those pieces, to put that in an email. Now, this is where you can work together. This is how you can work together. Now, come on, get the curiosity, no judgment, just bring your own expertise and let's see how you can collaborate. And then it's done for me. You know, I've done just about all I can do to get them together, but it's the hunt. That's the easiest way to say it. That's why I love the collaboration, is that I'll be sitting talking to somebody and they just crack up. I'm talking to somebody in Zoom and I said, okay, I'm not going to bring my database of 10,000 to the table because you'd be terribly bored and we'd get nowhere. Talk to me, tell me your alliances. And all of a sudden it just kind of funnels in and it starts in, and I start to write and I start to write and I start to write. And when I'm finished, I've got maybe 10 people and I think, okay, now I got to stop. I have all the questions answered that I wanted to find out. Now I can give that.
Yeah.
And they look at me and I say, do you know? And they say no. And I go, yes, my first no. And they go, are you okay? And I said, I love no's. I just love no's, because that means I can bring someone else to the table. I love to bring people to the table because I want to be able to get that to explode, to be spontaneously into success. So that's why I have been part of success. And that's really important to me.
So
I don't know, does that explain it?
Yeah, your role is obviously connecting people, bringing them together, like you said, the catalyst for the spontaneous combustion. But I want to ask the question, everyone benefits from that, right? I benefit if you introduce me to another person. So I introduce people consistently when I think about someone and they're like, I need this resource, or I just meet them for the first time and think, oh my gosh, you need to meet this other person. I think you guys would get along great. So I could open a door for them or bring additional revenue to them, right? There's reasons why we all do that. For you, Jackie, you create a lot of success for other people. What is it that you do that's creating success for yourself in all of the alliances that you're creating and the connections that you're making for other people?
Well, as I've said so many times, my inside is lined with gold, because I feel that I have gotten that much out of what I'm doing. That's my success. My personal success. And my personal success essentially is that when I leave this place, I won't leave with any gold in my pocket. It's what I have developed within me. And so that is my major success, especially overseas when I'm doing so much more globally. However, what happens from that, just give you an example real quick. Like, I was at what was called Tribe Up, and now it's called Best Social Ever, and met a fellow who pretty much understood where I was going globally. And he gave me the best referral I've ever had in my entire life. I can honestly say that, which has been 35 years working in this type of thing. And the referral that he gave me was a developer. And the developer and this fellow, Rajiv, and I sat down with a woman who's close to me, Yvonne Gamble, of a group called Lifesavers Ambassadors International. And we are crafting 30,000 tablets with a gamified literacy app on the tablets, Footsteps to Brilliance, that will affect 150,000 children in 10 countries around the world. It will literally change the face of education as we know it. That is the biggest and most beautiful thing, just because someone listened. And thought, I'll bet she'd like to know. See, typically what we do as people, as business people, is that we focus on customers. And to me, that's logical to buy, for you want them to buy, but they're not the one. You can't just go out and throttle people and ask them to buy from you. It just doesn't work.
That's correct.
So to me, everybody has an expertise and a need. That's the basic foundation. We all have expertise and needs. I don't care. My 1-week-old great-grandchild has definitely an expertise and a need. She can cry and she can poop and she needs to be changed. Okay, we all have them. My purpose is to be able to find a way to fill that need. If people go with that concept, and as my friend Nancy Matthews would say, each conversation is, are they the one? Are they the one? Then you've got a whole different conversation. It's not, what are they going to give me? Are they going to be a customer? Are they not a customer?
Mhm.
I can do it. How am I going to talk to them? It's a whole different mindset. The
Mhm.
mindset is, what do they need? What can I do to fill that need? Because early on, I realized when I started my own business, I was like everybody else. I was kind of thinking I was groveling for food when I go to these things. I don't want to grovel for food, somebody buying my stuff. And worse yet, I don't want to have to buy everyone's insurance or everyone's widget. I can't afford to do that.
Right.
And I realized that the best gift that I could give anyone was an alliance.
Mhm.
Because once you get that relationship built and they see how a bowl to the same target audience, and you become word of mouth. So I didn't have to buy them all. My best gift for them was who I know.
Yeah.
And so that philosophy was just built around not me. That's do I make money on it? Indirectly. And when I work in LinkedIn, yeah, because people look at me and they go, really? You've just opened up a whole new world for me. This is so much clearer. 756 million members. Now I can just touch it a little at a time and intentionally network instead of going to these groups and throwing stuff against the wall and hope somebody pays attention if I say it right. Kind of
So
went around your answer, but I
talk
think
to
I
no,
kind of
you
got what you asked.
you did. Talk to us a little bit how you build those alliances in LinkedIn with people. How are you helping build those alliances through the LinkedIn application?
Yeah, it didn't take me long to figure out once I, first of all, started with people in their own database. And when they told me it was in a shoebox or a drawer, I realized it's not going to work. So we went to LinkedIn, and LinkedIn, because of the large size, because of the complexity and how well the database is put together, is a wonderful tool. But because of all of that, it overpowers all of us that aren't familiar with it, because what do you do with this thing? And my business, by the way, is not marketing. My business is doing what I do. And why would I want to take time? Let me tell you why you want to take time. So I listen to them in a clarity from chaos session, I call it, and I find out who their best clients are. We talk it over my paper. And then I make them look perfectly wonderful, bring their essence to their profile, so that we actually have them understood by the picture behind their picture or by their about. And it explains clearly and concisely what they've told me, also their what their service is, who their target audience is, who they want as alliances, and results to expect, and then exactly what they can do about it. But that's just the very small part. The next part is the strategy, because just having your face is not going to make you get alliances. You need to do a little bit more and to get them to literally engage with you. So what I do is I give them a strategy. And what that is I look at first their own connections or LinkedIn as a whole. And I look for their alliances. That's it. I say, speaker coaches, Colorado. all of a sudden thousands will come up. Thousands. Well, that's bad enough. I mean, it's not 756 million, but it's still bad enough. Okay, so now what do? I pull out a couple of them and I look at their about or their web page, and I show you, look, see the commonalities, see where they will fit with you. Now, here's how we're going to talk to them in a connect version. So when we say connect to this person, this is what we say. And they understand it's collaboration. It's not sell me anything.
Yeah.
Because how much do you hate of those?
Right.
And so I craft that for them. And then the second one is, oh, you didn't have time. You know, I'm also able to bring this to the table. And by the way, my database wants to hear about you. Who wouldn't want somebody to say that to them? So I've done that, then showed them how to work the one-to-one after that.
That's great.
And then I've given them a couple more suggestions, and they've got everything to start with. It's not overpowering.
Yeah.
And then gradually I will show them other areas where they can find these good people that are going the same direction, that have the same commonalities, but they're not doing nobody does exactly the same thing you do. So I show them that. And then a month I come back and I say, how did that work? Did it work for you? Maybe that's good. Maybe let's talk about it. They come back for another session. So all that's included in the LinkedIn Illumination.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And yeah,
it just provides ways for people to utilize this powerful tool that aren't currently utilizing it to how they could to create more collaborations and more alliances, like you said.
Exactly.
So Jackie, how can the listeners that are watching you today on Facebook or listening to you through the podcast, how are they able to find out more about you? Where's the easiest place for them to go? Is it JacquelineZaccoli.com, LinkedIn? Where would you say?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. It's actually Jacqueline Zaccoli on LinkedIn. It's not Jackie. So it is Jacqueline. You're right. Jacqueline Zaccoli. That would be one way. I do get those messages all the time, probably faster than anything else I do.
Okay.
On my website, you will also see not only the overview of me, but my global impact, which has, as you see from the tablets, and bringing in footsteps to every country of the world is huge. And that's the Manifesting Global Solutions Group. And that's on the Global Reach page. So yeah, that's the best way to get a hold of me.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that information and the nuggets that you did on LinkedIn. So for those of you not using LinkedIn to that degree, my high suggestion is to connect with Jackie over LinkedIn, and all of the links are right there at your fingertips. For Facebook, they're in the description. For the podcast, they're right there. You can just click on her link and go visit her and find out more about her and start connecting with her and send her a message so that you can find out how you guys can work together and she can connect you and help you build alliances and collaborations that maybe you're not doing today. Because she is absolutely the number one wizard at that. Oh, so for sure. Any last words you want to leave for our listeners, Jackie?
Be open-minded and listen. Listen is so important. And think of who you know. Now, if you think that they have the same business that this other individual has, they don't. They don't. There's no way, unless they're both selling jewelry or, something, the same product. And so whoever is doing similar things, pay attention.
Yeah.
Would you ever go away from someone that gives you resources? No, they will be back. So the more that you can give people, the more will come back to you. Networking is what you give, not what you get.
Right. Thank you, Jackie.
Yeah. One last comment. This was by Gary Spence. I like to always end with this: to be open to wonder rather than closed by belief.
That's a good one. Well, on that note, I want to let all of you know, and of course, please remember, you're the only you that has ever been. You're the only you that will ever be. So if you decide to walk life alone, then it will be a lonely road. Or we could walk life with building alliances and collaboration with other people. Who you have in your circle and who surrounds you matters. So go find those people and surround yourself and collaborate, because you will grow faster, you'll be happier, you'll have more joy in your life, and you will be more fulfilled. So Jackie, thank you again for joining us today. And for all of you out there, remember, have a wonderful week. And until next time, be you and be strong.
We hope you enjoyed our show today, as our guests shared their secrets on designing their life by taking the necessary leaps to expand their influence and attract the right people and clients into their lives. To start these easy steps for yourself, be sure to visit www.colleenbiggs.net/freebies to download the 7 ways to increase your exposure today.